Entertainment Weekly Radio. I'm Julia Cunningham, and I'm so honored to have Priyanka Chopra joining me in studio. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you, Julia. So good to be here.
We were just saying beforehand, my boss set me up. I'm out of our LA office, and I'm here randomly this week in New York, and so I was double checking, and you were saying that you have some bad juju with recording. You're also a musician.
Juju. Yeah, but like more than as a musician, like whenever I'm being interviewed, something goes wrong with the recording.
Is it because of your energy? Do you think you're like one of those crystal people that you weirdly have crystals inside you?
Oh my God, could I be? I've always wanted to be a superhero.
I think maybe. I think maybe.
And I'm Indian, so like
exactly.
It's all about the chakras I hear in LA.
Yes, and extensive arms inside you or something. Yeah, exactly. I think there could be a thing. I do feel like there's some type of people that do have some sort of energy source when it comes to like electricity and things that mess things up. Is it like when you? Yes, it's like when you go back. Is it like?
Don't make me believe fuzzy? That. I'll really believe it, and then
I'm trying to build you up to be like yes,
and then I'm gonna try and move like a car or something.
Yeah, and it's like work. It's not gonna happen. That we know of now. We here in the United States, I have not seen as many Indian films as I should in my life as just like a person that loves movies and like Rashomon style of making of movies and other things. But I was just so curious when you and anyone, I think anytime we talk to anyone who is an actor, no matter where they come from, even if it's like Christoph Waltz, it's always like, yes, I want to make all of my operas in Austria, but I want to be in movies in America. What was it that, something, especially a property like Baywatch, do you think of like this is like as American sort of as it gets, this property?
Well, absolutely. But for me, like I, as an actor, want to be able to just act.
And do anything.
It doesn't matter. I go where my work takes me.
Right. And you have a production company. You still make Indian films.
And I will still continue to act in Indian films as long as people watch me. It's just that I'm so committed with Quantico, my TV show, and with doing Baywatch at that time that I couldn't do as many films as I could. But now we have... Our season 3 is a shorter order, so I'll be able to balance a lot more movies. But yeah, I consider myself like it wasn't... to me in my head that I wanted to come and do only American films. I think that it was a great opportunity. I loved Baywatch. Baywatch was huge in India. I don't remember
huge.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone who did not have Pamela Anderson like on their wall. Like I don't remember any boy that I knew.
Oh yeah, well, and I think that's the thing that I find still so shocking, because to me growing up, Baywatch was sort of like not like a joke, but we were all like, oh yeah, Baywatch or whatever. But internationally, it's still huge.
I mean, not as much as it was then, like in the 80s or 90s.
No, it's more like country's still frozen in time a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I think, sometimes like David Hasselhoff's still king in Germany, and I think they're still really into
that.
Baywatch.
I really heard.
And like Australia, I heard like Australia is really into Baywatch.
Oh, is that why we're premiering?
Is that why you guys are all going? Probably. See, Germany and Australia.
That's why, because of the Hoff.
Yes.
Now I get it.
The Hoff and probably Zac Efron.
Yeah, probably him too.
The multi-obsession. So when you got the script originally, and you're playing sort of the villainous character in this movie. What was it specifically that made you think, I only can do a certain amount of things a year. I'm locked into Quantico. I'm going to do Baywatch.
What I loved about the character that I play was, one, it was written for a man initially. Yes. And that was like, oh, cool, as an actor. And second, because there's only one way you can make Baywatch in 2017, and that's the way we've done it. Like, you're absolutely right. It has a cheese factor that you think of and you're like, I don't know. But when I read the script and it came to me, that's the first thing when I felt. I was like, they're going to mess it up. I don't know how they're going to do it. But what they've done is they've taken the spirit of Baywatch, which is like the team and, the slow-mo and all the fun, cheesy things about it that we love, and wrapped it into like an adult rated R, naughty, dirty sort of movie, so that's what makes it so fun. It's silly. It's still we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're laughing at ourselves. The jokes you're making at yourself, and that's what makes the film really cool, because you know where you're coming from and you know where you're taking the audience. It's a completely different place, and it's just a fun summer laugh out loud kind of movie. Right.
And I mean, this is one of those movies where I assume the unrated version that will go to Blu-ray is just all breast.
It's
just a lot of breast.
Actually.
Is it a lot of full frontal male is what you're going to say?
Yes.
Wow.
You will see a lot of balance of objectification in this movie.
See, that's what I want to know. I like already, and you mentioned that they switched the balance, that
not that you won't see boobs.
Right. I mean, breasts are going to be there. It's going to be a thing.
But there's a lot more of
Wow, with penis is what you're saying.
Yeah, other things.
Wow, interesting. Okay, I applaud that. And I also applaud that they did switch the villainous character. So when they sent it to you, the script, was it still written for a man?
No, it had just been turned into a woman.
Turned.
And when I spoke to my director, it was still fresh in his head as well. But he just thought it'd be such a cool idea. It was very important for him for Baywatch to be not just about, objectifying women, or he wanted it to be like objectifying boys too.
Right.
And he wanted like to switch it up and have the villain be a girl, Mm-hmm. And that was very important to Seth, and I think he's pulled that off in this movie. Like, all our female characters are such strong, kick-ass women.
Right. What was it that you wanted to bring? Did you bring sort of like what you imagined, like a masculine, like Scarface edge, or what? When you decided, okay, I'm readying myself, is it like more about a specific look that you wanted to have, an attitude? What do you give Victoria Leeds?
Well, a few notes. One was very high heels.
For the click-clack effect.
Yeah, there's something so intimidating about a woman who can just walk the walk in high heels.
Right.
She's a really powerful character, so I wanted every outfit to be like a power outfit. Her hair doesn't move out of place; it's big hair. Mm-hmm. Her lipstick doesn't move out of place; it's always red. She wears a big dial watch. She wears a diamond on a pinky, which is such a big F you.
Yeah.
So I wanted her to be like, she never does anything herself. The car doors are always open for her. There's a stool that comes out for her when she has to stand.
So powerful.
She was just she's so absurd that she was so funny.
Right.
That's what made her fabulous. That the things that happened around her are so normal in her world that she was just like, the lifeguards, including The Rock, were just an inconvenience.
Guys, The Rock is never an inconvenience. I can't even imagine.
Victoria, I know.
I mean, it's insane. I was telling you before this interview that we met John Bass last week for the first time, who was such a delight. And he, obviously this is a big movie for him. Like, this is like his first time being on a huge set.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, and even like Bollywood movies in India, like all of these, huge productions. But there's got to be something when you are in a movie with somebody like The Rock, who is just so international, and seeing just the crowds hoard to these sets just to like get a glimpse of him. It's a little crazy.
What is amazing about him, though, is I don't even think he knows that about himself. He's just he keeps it so real. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just, when you speak to him and you meet him, he's just a nice guy who... And what I love about him is he's so sensitive towards the people that love him, his fans, and like, he's just so aware of them. He's just such a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I follow him on Instagram, and every time he posts those, like, I'm getting up at 4:45 to do cardio, I'm like, stop.
And I'm like, shut up.
I know, it's like, shut up about it already. I know. Like, we know you're perfect.
We can see it.
We see the time code.
Stop it. I know. It's
Get
terrible. Imagine
over
being
yourself.
In a movie with them.
Yeah.
With both of them. Like, I think I emotionally started emotional eating.
Did you? That was your gut reaction, was just start eating?
Yeah, emotional eating. Looking at them, work out the way they did and having the diet that they
did. It's too much.
Did.
I imagine the entire set just smelled like protein shake. Like, disgusting, Priyanka. It's gross.
Yeah, when they used to keep at the craft table, they used to keep Doritos and like Cheetos. And I think that was just for me because no one else ate them. And
then you have like streaks of orange down your like just because I'm emotionally
eating. We're looking at Zach and Dwayne train. It was just, yeah.
Like, we get it. You're perfect. Ugh, too much. Too much. We have Priyanka Chopra joining us. She plays Victoria Leeds. She's the villain in the new Baywatch film that'll begin being in theaters this Thursday evening. I love that now movies have creeped into Thursday nights. It's like an extra night of, I like it too. I like having an extra night to pick to go to the movies.
And it makes the, like, business-wise, it makes the weekend longer.
It makes the weekend longer.
Which is great.
It just gives us more options to, like, squeeze in a movie, honestly. I wanted to ask you, because I've never spoken to anyone so fresh off the Met Ball. And you had that insane sort of trench coat gown that, how long was that train on your dress?
It was about 20 feet.
How is it that you even maneuver? Was someone just constantly behind you, like, fluffing it as you walked?
I needed 3 fluffers.
Did you have 3 fluffers?
Well, that's the worst thing is you can't say fluffers. It's
right, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, you can't, but I had...
But they're fluffers. They're fluffing up your trench coat.
I had 3 people who had to, like, place it. I couldn't sit in a car. I had to come in a minibus standing to the Met Gala. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I had 3
that's so
people
chic.
holding the gown behind me from Ralph Lauren. And when I got into the Met Gala from Vogue, and they just kept fixing it wherever I would go. So, which is why, like, 3 days before the Met Gala, I had a nightmare. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to take this train with me while I'm having dinner. It'd be like having a baby in my lap, you know, it's so big. And so I called my stylist, and she called Ralph Lauren. And 2 days before the Met Gala is when we figured out that we should, like, we detached the train, and it became like a mini dress.
Oh,
inside.
so smart.
Yeah, but imagine if I hadn't had that nightmare.
Well, thank God for nightmares. See, energy beforehand. But I also, because I wondered mainly, like, going into that party afterwards, yelling at everyone.
After the red carpet, I was like, this is done. This is over.
What does everyone do once you're in the Met Gala? Does everyone just talk about fashion? I mean, do you, like, because everyone's there, do you just wander up table to table being like, hey, I'm Priyanka, I'm an actress too? You know,
I mean,
just talk to everybody.
I knew quite a few people.
Sure.
It's your colleagues, and it's the industry, basically. So you know people. And it's basically a big party. Everyone moves around, and until, like, of course, when performances happen, like when Katy Perry was performing, everybody sat down.
Everyone's watching.
And then everybody got up because the songs were amazing.
Did you do a walk by Anna Wintour? Did you meet her?
I did meet her.
Did what?
I did meet her. I want to crack that mystery too.
Yes, I'm very fascinated by her.
No one knows her at all. It's so cool because I think when you walk past her, you sort of enter a bubble and get out of it.
Yeah.
Because she has her own.
It's just like a haze.
Yeah, it's a haze of Anna.
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever watched that documentary about the September issue.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's amazing. It's about making the actual September issue, but it's really about the staff. Like, she really, I mean, she's so smart. I mean, she's almost like not even in it, where you're just like, I just want to know what a day-to-day is like with you.
I would pay to see that.
Yes, it'd be fascinating.
To be a fly on the wall.
Fascinating. I can't even imagine. Priyanka Chopra is our guest. She is in Baywatch, which is out this weekend. I also wanted to ask you, because I saw this play here in New York City, and it's called A Kid Like Jake. I saw it at Lincoln Center here in New York City, and you're going to be part of it. I don't think you guys have even started filming yet, have you?
No, we haven't. But I'm in the middle of conversations with them right now.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess, you know, we just found out where season 3 is going to be.
Right, you're like, I have all these other jobs.
I'm like, I don't know what to do and when to place it. Then
How hard is that even to figure out your schedule nowadays? I mean, because you're becoming too in demand.
Well,
I mean, in a good way.
Which is always a good thing. Yeah. Champagne problems, like
Champagne problems, sure.
And I work in 2 different continents. So imagine, like, that's really hard.
How much time do you spend on both continents?
Well, right now, a lot more in America.
Right.
I spend about 2 months maybe in India at the moment to handle all my productions. And maybe I want to do a film this year, hopefully, there and 1 or 2 here.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out my scheduling. Thank God I don't have to deal with it, and my team does.
Yeah, you're like, someone else figure it out.
Manager, manage.
So Victoria leads just with that schedule.
I don't want to know. Just tell me where to arrive, and I'll sit in the car and I'll go there.
So did you grow up watching just as many American films as Indian films? And how about Egyptian films?
No,
never Egyptian.
Because I don't understand the language.
Yeah,
my first languages are Hindi and English.
Right.
So I guess I watch Hindi movies because I understand. I mean, I love them. I understand the language, and I grew up watching a lot of American films.
Did that help you learn English watching the American films, or was it just through school?
Through school.
Yeah.
So India is about 10% of India probably speaks English.
Right.
Which we're like, say for example, we're 1.7 billion people in the country, so that's like 170 million people.
Right.
By sheer population, we speak more English than most countries do.
Wow.
In the world. Yeah, and I mean, you know, India was colonized by British, right? So the Queen left, but she left the language behind.
Totally. I mean, you know,
she was like, "Bye, India. You can keep the English." The thing is, though, we speak the Queen's English, and it's not American.
No. I know. It's like the light accent that's thrown in there.
Yeah, it's like you have to enunciate your vowels.
So do you find now that you're an American, let's say you're on the set of Quantico, will people make these reference of TV shows from the 90s, and you're like, I'm not familiar? My
favorite excuse in everything is like, I'm not from America. I have no idea what you're talking about. Half the time I do, but it's my greatest excuse because I get away with everything saying I'm not from America.
I'm not from America. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like if I'm asked for an opinion, like say for example, you ask me for an opinion, I'll just be like, I'm not.
You're
from
like
America.
Not from here.
Don't know.
No big deal. Have you tried to introduce like a lot of the movies that you grew up with? I mean, because there must be a version of your Jurassic Park or something that's like beloved by of a certain generation, do you say you guys should check this out on Netflix or something like that?
But it's pretty amazing that, because my films are Hindi and because now people have gotten to know me to a certain extent through Quantico and through Baywatch, whatever, that there's so many people who are curious about the work that I've done and they go check it out on Netflix, and everything is subtitled, I guess. But that's a really curious cultural exchange, which I'm finding so fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
With like people who get curious about where I came from and the work that I've done.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Bollywood is not just like random. It's not just a Zumba class.
Oh my God. That is insane that people think that. I know, but even, last week I was saying how you were going to be on our show and people started tweeting me like movie recommendations, like Indian films. And I was like, oh, I love this, that you can also like introduce our entire culture into Indian movies.
It's such a beautiful cultural exchange. That's been the best part about this for me.
I was just curious about the Egyptian thing just because I have a friend that grew up in Egypt and he was like, I only watched Egyptian movies and Hindi, like movies in Hindi. Like that was sort of back and forth.
Hindi movies have a huge demographic outside of people
outside
who
of
only speak
Hindi. Yeah.
Somehow we've like translated to people because Indian movies are such an experience. That I think it's translated, like Germany, for example.
Oh my gosh.
Russia, like places where people don't even speak English.
Right, but like are into the narrative.
And I'm like, wait, how do you know that?
Oh, just that narrative.
It's great. It's amazing.
It's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to discovering more of your oeuvre, I guess, in native tongue as well. But I'm very excited. Baywatch is out this weekend. Priyanka Chopra has been joining us, which is lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Guys, and if you're wondering, yes, stunning in person too. Guys, stunning. Coming even through the radio. Thank you so much for hanging out, though. It's been really nice.
This was fun.